A year ago, a bombshell announcement at Hall H shook the comic book aftermarket. Robert Downey Jr. was revealed as the next actor to play on the role of Doctor Doom. But what exactly connects Tony Stark to Victor Von Doom? At last year's San Diego Comic-Con, the Sotomaki Baroness exclusive cover turned heads and sold out fast, quickly becoming one of the most talked about variants of the weekend. And fresh off of Deadpool and Wolverine hype, Mark Silvestri's iconic crucifix pose cover came with a force, crossing paths with collectors once again.
Topic that dominated our top 10 list last year. So many fans are trying to figure out what did RDJ casting mean for the MCU and what comics they need to own to be ahead of the curve. Today, we're looking back at some of those key books that jump into the value right after the announcement and seeing how they're holding up 1 year later. We're going to clear up some of the misinformation, look at what's still hot, and find out which books were simply swept up in the hype.
What's up, everyone? Very Gary Comics here. This is the 1 year look back cover price video.
Welcome to Terrificon at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. This is one of the biggest and best pure Comic Cons in the Northeast. Hey everyone, I'm Izzy, and welcome back to the Covrprice Top 10 Rewind, where we're taking a look at the hottest books from 1 year ago and see how they are holding up today, right after the jaw-dropping moment at San Diego Comic-Con when Robert Downey Jr. shocked fans with his return to the MCU, not as Tony Stark, but as Doctor Doom. Let's see which books lit up the charts then and where they stand now. Sure, you hit that like button and subscribe to Covrprice's channel. Let's get on with this list, guys.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Marvel Team Up number 2 from Marvel Comics in 2025. This book features the first cameo appearance of the Iron Maniac. Writer Robert Kirkman intentionally designed to make readers believe it was Doctor Doom. The cover art highlights the classic Doom look with a silver suit and green cloak, though later issues will reveal the Iron Man-style repulsors and other details were meant to fool the reader. A near-mint raw copy sold for $45 and a graded 9.8 sold for $250 last year. Today, those numbers have dropped to a near-mint raw at $16 and a graded 9.8 at $75. Both down significantly as the market has started to realize the book isn't a direct link to a Tony Stark Doctor Doom crossover.
This is a classic misdirect, and it's a great example of why we always tell you to do your research. Kirkman was playing a fun trick on the readers, but it's not the same thing in the definitive key. The price drop here shows the initial hype has worn off and collectors are moving on to more relevant books.
At number 9 is the very next issue from Marvel Team Up's number 3. This issue features the first full appearance of the Iron Maniac, though it isn't named until much later. Due to his Doom-like appearance, a lot of collectors were pushing this as a first appearance of Tony Stark as Doctor Doom. A near-mint raw sold for $35 a year ago, but no graded 9.8 sales were reported. Most recently, a near-mint raw sold for $24. Graded copies are still non-existent on the sales front. The raw sales are down, which is expected as the book itself makes it very clear that this is not Doctor Doom.
We got a ton of emails about this one last year. We did our due diligence and read through the entire run and can confirm that this is simply an evil variant of Tony Stark. He even reveals himself and states he has no relation to Victor Von Doom. So while it's a cool book and it's not a key, a lot of people thought it was. The market finally is catching up, which is why the value is dropping.
Hitting the number 8 spot is Exiles 23. As Doctor Doom speculation intensifies a year ago, the issue became a target for collectors. It features an alternate reality Tony Stark who adapts elements of Doctor Doom's temperament and costume, going by the name Iron Monarch. Last year, Near Mint Raw sold for $75, and a graded 9.8 sold for $90. Most recently, the Near Mint Raws have fallen to $25, but the graded 9.8 has actually jumped to $150. Interestingly, raw issues are significantly down year over year, but graded issues have seen a significant jump. Should this trend continue, this continues to present an opportunity to buy low raw and sell high grade.
This one's a bit of a head scratcher. The raw market has completely cooled off, but the graded market is on fire. It might be a case of a very limited number of high-grade copies coming to the market, or perhaps the market's starting to believe that if there is a connection to be made between Tony Stark and Doom, this could be the one to watch. It's a great buy low raw, sell high grade.
66 Silver Age Classic takes number 7 with Avengers 25 from Marvel Comics. A year ago, this was a fan favorite, making it a return to the aftermarket, featuring the first battle between Doctor Doom and the Avengers, with a classic Stan Lee and Jack Kirby story. This book is a key on its own merit. Last year, Very Good Raw sold for $88, and a graded 9.4 sold for $1,800. Today, a Very Good Raw now is at $80, and a graded 9.4 is at $1,560. While both books have seen a slight decrease and a minor down, this book remains strong, stable key in the aftermarket.
And a great piece of comic history to have in your collection.
At number 6 is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 10 from Marvel Comics. This book features an iconic Mike Zeck cover of Doctor Doom that saw a boost a year ago as a fan favorite Doom book. Last year, a Near Mint Raw sold for $20, and a graded 9.8 sold $215. Today, both are up, with Near Mint Raw at $22 and a graded 9.8 at $230. This is a great example of a beautiful classic cover that will likely hold its value for a long time.
This is an awesome one. It's a great example of a book that doesn't need a first appearance or a key to be desirable. It's just a fantastic piece of art with a legendary character. The fact that the price is up shows that good art and good covers are always on demand.
We have reached the halfway point at number 5 with What If Iron Man Demon in the Armor number 1 from Marvel Comics. Another book that saw a spike in value due to the RDJ casting. This storyline features a mind swipe between Tony Stark and Doctor Doom. A year ago, a Near Mint Raw sold for $130, and a graded 9.8 sold for $500. More recently, we've seen those prices fall to a Near Mint Raw at $48 and a graded 9.8 at $385. This is no surprise that this is down, as this is a speculative book with a highly unlikely storyline for the MCU, but we've been wrong before.
It's a great story, but the What If imprint makes it pretty clear that this is not canon. The market initial reaction was based purely on speculation, but as time passes, collectors have moved on. The price drop here is a good reminder that while What If stories can be fun, they often don't have the same long-term value as a canonical key.
Stepping away from Doctor Doom spec, at number 4 is G.I. Joe Real American Hero 308, the Sozomaki 2024 San Diego Comic-Con variant from Image Comics. This highly limited exclusive cover of Baroness by Sozomaki saw a late aftermarket boom a year ago. A Near Mint Raw sold for $212, and a graded 9.8 sold for $225 in December of 2024. Today, a Near Mint Raw has sold for $120 and a graded 9.8 for $200. Both are down, but the book remains scarce and popular.
This is a great example of a highly limited, highly desirable variant cover. The initial rush to get a copy out of the gate was massive, but now the market has settled a bit. It's still a great book to own, and the fact that it's a limited print run of just 300 copies means it will always have a high floor.
You can't keep a good Doctor Doom out for too long, and taking the number 3 spot was Iron Man Volume 2, Issue 11 from Marvel Comics. A year ago, this cover featuring a face-off between Iron Man and Doctor Doom was another fan favorite for RDJ speculation. The book doesn't have any key appearances or events, but the cover art by Walt Portacio is fantastic. A year ago, a near mint raw sold for $15, and in February of this year, a graded 9.8 sold for $43. The raw prices has held steady at $15, but a graded 9.8 has recently seen a sale of $90. This marks a significant up as momentum in this book has gained year over year, signaling another potential buy-in low opportunity on raw issues.
This is an interesting one because the raw price has been flat, but the graded price has been more than double. It seems like collectors are starting to realize that while the book itself isn't the key, the cover is so good and so relevant to the current speculation that a high-grade copy is a must-have for some. It's another potential buy low raw, sell high grade for the savvy collector.
The runner-up at number 2 is infamous Iron Man number 1 from Marvel Comics. This is a true key book in the multiverse of Doctor Doom, as it marks the first appearance of Victor Von Doom as Iron Man. A year ago, this was one of the hottest books on the aftermarket, with near mint raw selling at $67 and a graded 9.8 for $300. Since then, the market has cooled off considerably, with a recent near mint raw sale at $30 and a graded 9.8 at $93. As with most of these speculative sales, some will work out, but most do not.
This is the poster child for speculative cooling. It's a great book. It's a significant key, but the market got way ahead of itself a year ago. It's a good reminder that not all speculative books is going to hold its peak value. The good news is that the price drop has made this book a lot more accessible for a lot of collectors. So if you missed out last year, you might be able to grab one now.
Doctor Doom may have dominated the list, but Wolverine takes the top spot at number 1 in the Uncanny X-Men 251 from Marvel Comics. A year ago, this iconic Mark Silvestri cover of Wolverine became a must-have for fans after the release of Deadpool and Wolverine. The movie featured a scene that was direct homage to this artwork, sending the aftermarket into a frenzy. A near mint raw sold for $125 and a graded 9.8 for $313. The market has since cooled down, with a near mint raw recently selling for $28 and a graded 9.8 for $221. While the momentum has died down, rumors of more versions of Wolverine appearing in future films could bring new life to this cover.
Hey everyone, Mark Silvestri here at Terrificon, and this is X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, number 251, with this cover that apparently people know about. This was number 1 last year, and it is still hot, so if you see it, grab it.
So there you have it, a look back at the books that dominated the aftermarket a year ago. The market for Doctor Doom related books was largely driven by speculation and misinformation, leading to some dramatic price fluctuations. The key takeaway here is that while speculation can be a great way to make money, it's also a volatile game. Books with solid key significance and great art tend to hold their value, while pure speculation can often come crashing back down to earth.
That beautiful Baroness San Diego exclusive by the wonderful Soso Maki was an absolute gem and standout. And speaking of standouts, it's been a wild year since that RDJ announcement. A story so big that 8 of this week's top 10 books were dominated by the news. Market's been a roller coaster with some of the most dramatic price swings we've seen in a long time. Doctor Doom speculation made a big splash, taking up 8 spots overall, but the top book was the incredible Wolverine crucifix cover by our special guest, Mark Silvestri. And a big thank you to Mark, Very, Gary, and Mitch and his team at Terrificon for making this such a memorable weekend. And I hope you enjoyed this look back at 2024. If you did, please consider hitting that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Covrprice's YouTube channel for more content like the top 10, the Shaker Report, and comics covered with co-founders Matt and John. Remember, to find out all of comic book collecting, fair market values, and so much more, visit covrprice.com. Check out the current top 10 and the movers and shakers. For more Terrificon coverage, visit my channel, Comics with IzzyVerseNYC. You can also find me under social media under IzzyVerseNYC. And I'll see you next week. Excelsior.